Welcome back to the show with special guests Martyn Ware and Glyn McGuire. Bit of an owl's night. James Gregory joins us, I'm delighted to say, this week. He's our token blade in the studio.
I know, I feel outnumbered today. Oh no, dear me.
Have we come up to date or what? The new titles?
Great new titles, well done.
Reckon?
Oh yeah, well chosen, well chosen. Also, new windows as well. There's some adoring fans out there.
Yeah, they've been cleaned as well. You know, what we ought to do one night is have a show where they're actually being cleaned on the outside.
That'd be great, yeah, I know.
Or Spider-Man climbing up.
Yeah. Hey, that would be good viewing for you.
It would, actually.
It really would.
Yeah, we can see everyone as well outside, which is great, isn't it? You know, they're all waiting for a selfie afterwards with you.
No, do you? They'll be waiting at the stage door for Martyn.
Now they will.
We need to talk about that, don't we? Yeah.
We need to talk about Martyn's starring role in a Tina Turner production.
Unbelievable.
He's been, well, we'll keep him hanging on for that,
Shall
we? Yeah, I reckon so. Yeah, you don't do your best bits first, you know about that. You don't do Temptation until the end of the evening, do you?
Sometimes we do it at the start and the end.
Oh, do you do it?
Nice bookend, love it.
Right, he's got some answering to do, first of all. He's got a lot to answer for because he was in the Test Match Special studio in Salford, that is.
Yeah.
Producing last night's epic or or whatever.
It's my second Test Match Special sort of production shift, and I do feel solely responsible for the collapse and demise of the England batsman yesterday. Yeah, it was terrible.
58 all out is unbelievable.
Not good at all. I know, they were just complete. It was like watching a school cricket game on a Sunday morning.
Maybe they've been on the sauce.
Well, I'm not. I don't think. I don't think so. Probably not.
He was about to say, I don't think I can reveal that.
I don't.
Connections.
Depends what kind of sauce you're referring to, but we'll see.
But I watched all the wickets later, and they were poor shots, weren't they?
Poor shots.
Desperately poor shots.
I mean, you've got to give credit. I mean, I've never seen a team bowled out without making a bowling change before. You know, Trent Bolt and Tim Southey were just ridiculous. So
for a session. Right. OK, we've got a proper roundup from James this week with plenty going on. Sheffield Wednesday, an international break at the moment. How do you get on with international breaks, this stop-start business that we've got?
Hate them. Boring.
Yeah.
Rubbish. What's the point? Nobody even likes friendlies. Nobody wants them.
They don't watch them.
No. And all this new league nonsense they come up with. What the hell? Nobody understands it.
Yeah.
I've listened to them on TalkSport, on the radio, trying to explain it. It takes about 10 minutes to explain. Yeah. Nobody's interested.
Yeah.
No. I think they're missing a trick. I mean, talking about new league, Champions League, you know, it was far better when it was the European Cup.
It was.
I mean, it was a proper knockout then. Every game counted.
Yeah.
Now in the first group phases, I mean, these games don't count.
And they were genuine champions. You know, you could get Manchester United drawing the champions of Malta, for instance, and things like that in the past, which was great.
How do you feel about sharing a studio with all these BOFs this evening?
BOF?
Yeah, well, you know what it stands for.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I feel...
What?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say how I feel, but yeah, I don't remember those days of the European Cup being like that, I'm afraid. So.
Well, you don't remember 1966 either.
I don't.
Are we going to get a Sheffield Wednesday revival next season? Football goes in cycles.
Yes.
A lot of money's been invested, a lot of commitment, a lot of good meaning.
Nothing to do with the money because of the financial fair play problems that Wednesday have got. We've kind of shot all our bullets. We're going to have to restructure the team, or else there's no point in employing a new manager. You know, you can't rely on all those players still playing at their peak. That's why it needed refreshing last summer. It needs refreshing this summer as well. Some of the older players that are on big wages, I think, need to be shipped out. Shipping them out is going to be an issue because they're on big wages. So it's like
and long contracts. Very difficult.
And long contracts.
Sometimes you have to bite the bullet and say, that's all that there is on the table. We don't think it's enough, but in order to freshen the team, we're going to have to take that and try and ease up FFP.
Afraid so. And I just think that the squad in general is, as you pointed out earlier, is short on pace and just short on that Vavoom thing, which the young players are looking like. I mean, like Sean Clare, everybody's going mad about him. I've seen him play one good game so far, so I reserve judgment. He looks like he could develop into something. I think his agent is probably going to send him off to Everton or something, which is a pity. But Jordan Thornley, good player. The other young lads, you know, who've stepped up. I believe in youth. I believe there's not enough youth in the Championship given a chance, and the Premier League, actually.
And sometimes that can be a blessing in disguise, being forced to use these younger players. The injuries at the time, you know, it's not what everybody wants, being so many out injured, but otherwise they may not have got an opportunity.
Imagine if you're a youth player at Chelsea. They send over 40 out on loan every year.
A special guy looking after all the loan, Ricardo Carvalho.
It's just ridiculous. I think it's wrong, and it shouldn't be allowed, actually.
No. Right. What have we got? The steel. I'm going to bring this in now because your steel exhibition, which begins Power exhibition.
Yeah, it's called Power.
Which begins at Trafalgar Warehouse, Trafalgar Street next week. This day next week.
Well, that's the launch in the evening, which is invite only, but it's open to the public from Friday.
From Friday.
Yeah.
And it's free, and there's going to be a special beer produced by Thornbridge.
There is, yeah. Power beer.
Lovely.
That's an attraction in itself.
Did you choose it yourself?
We chose it. I'm friends with them. I go to see Wednesday with Simon Webster, who's the marketing manager. So I said, do us a solid. And do as a special edition, and so we've designed the label and everything. It's beautiful.
Is it?
Yeah.
Right.
Just saw the bottle for the first time today. It's like Good News Day today. I don't know what's wrong.
How do you, as a musician, get involved in this sort of thing?
I've always been involved in artistic installations. The start of the Human League. For those of us who are old enough to remember it, we used to have projections as part of the show because we were so prodigiously tedious to witness as performers. I mean, there were two synthesizer players and Phil, who was just rigid with fear, grasping hold of the mic. And
was he rigid with? Was he?
Oh, totally. Yeah, rigid. I mean, rigid with fear.
Yeah.
And we were so busy in between each song, we had to repatch everything physically with wires to get the new sound going. And it's like 90 seconds between the songs, and we're going, you know, we're not exactly stand-up comedians. You know what I mean?
It's like VAR.
So we got a full-time visual artist to create a backdrop for us. So we've always done this kind of arty, kind of immersive environment type thing right from the start. Even when we were touring in 78, 79 with Susie and the Banshees, Iggy Pop, Stranglers, all those sort of people.
Class.
Yeah.
Absolutely class. Timeless.
Indeed, timeless.
It's come full circle now, that's what I'm saying.
We're going to talk Tina Turner and the 1966 FA Cup final film again shortly. Yeah, I mean, those two... Well, they do somehow.
This is the best show ever.
They do somehow.
Seamless.
They go together somehow, don't they?
Seamless segue.
No, it's a class show.
It's not. Thank you. He's so ironic, isn't he? I was going to say sarcastic. It's not quite one show segue, is it?
No.
Meantime, what else is going on?
Well, we'll segue into this as smoothly as we possibly can. We probably can't really because we're talking about the Blades, and I'm the only one here. But we've got Blades obviously got a week off with this international break. We won't go there, but the goalless draw to Notts Forest last weekend. Not in action until next Friday, then away at Brentford. Still in with a fighting chance, of course, of getting in the top six. And next Friday is also when the Owls are next in action. But that's at Hillsborough hosting Preston.
Come on, Wednesday.
Great win away at Ellen Road as well last weekend, by the way, wasn't it? Fantastic.
That power slide at the end.
Yeah.
It was brilliant.
Yeah.
Thought you were never going to stop.
And leaving the swathe through the snow, it was...
It's emblazoned on my... There's some great photos
People
from that.
are admiring that more than the goal.
It's great, isn't it? Yeah,
it reminds me of the old days.
Yes.
You know, Orange Bull.
Yeah.
Not only that, some lady in the south won £1 million on that
That's
goal
right.
as well.
Did you read that?
Yeah. That one going in 3 minutes into injury time. That was it. She won £1 million.
That's
incredible.
I've got to say, regardless of those goals, I've always admired that player.
Me too.
And the stick he's had is unbelievable and so unfair.
I think he's actually a much better player than people give him credit for. And because he looks a bit ungainly. It's a bit, remember Gerard Sibon had a similar problem, not as bulky, but it's like you couldn't get the ball off Sibon. And you can't get the ball off him. Once he puts his mind to it, how are you going to get to it?
Charges through a brick wall as well.
And you know, he's brave. He's not the best finisher, I have to say. But he counts.
He's totally wholehearted.
Yeah.
You couldn't try harder.
There aren't many like that in our team, I have to say.
No, a bit of driving personality and leadership.
Absolutely.
Would not go amiss. So it wasn't just about his 2 goals.
No, exactly. Great win. Great win for Wednesday, that one. Sheffield FC ladies, they take on Brighton at home this Sunday in the Women's Super League. 1 p.m. kickoff up at Dronfield, the Coach and Horses ground, while Sheffield United ladies, they take on Long Eaton away from home in the Women's Premier League. What a season they've had as well. Both teams have had several games called off as well due to the snow, so a good chance to get back in the swing of things.
Have you noticed, by the way, that joining Sheffield United
is Manchester
United.
Yeah, so 2
have
United
applied for the championship of the women's.
I just hope for their sake that Man United doesn't. It's not at the expense of Sheffield United ladies. Too. So we'll see when that comes out. I think it's later in the summer, about August time, isn't it? It's going to be announced.
I don't know exactly when.
I think it's about August time that we'll find out on that one. So update you that on the programme. In non-league, Hallam FC, they're 3 points outside the playoffs in their division. Games played all over the place as well because of all the snows, and non-league pitches don't mix particularly well, do they? They've won 5-1 away from home last night, actually, against Nostell Miners Welfare. Mitch Dunn with a hat-trick in that one. Sheffield FC, they're away at Gresley this week, and they drew 4-4 with Drayton at home on Tuesday night.
I'm so sorry I missed that. I was thinking of going.
Great win.
4-4,
great game, but 4-4 with Drayton, So Gresley this weekend for Sheffield FC. Goodness me. In ice hockey, Sheffield Steelers, they're 5th in the Elite League standings. Good 1-0 win at Fife last weekend.
Don't get many of those, do you?
No, I know. 1-0. It's a gritty 1-0 win up in Scotland, that. And they're at home to Edinburgh on Saturday and Manchester on Sunday away from home. 2 great wins for the Sheffield Sharks in their quest for the playoffs as well, beating Cheshire and Glasgow in the last couple, away at Worcester Wolves tomorrow night in the British Basketball League. A bit more news on one of their players shortly. Sheffield Eagles are bottom of the Rugby League Championship and also out of the Challenge Cup as well. They lost to Barrow last weekend in the 4th round of the Challenge Cup. They've got another trip to Cumbria this weekend. They'll play the same opposition, try and right a few wrongs. It's a big match for Mark Aston's team. That one this Sunday. Sheffield Tigers in Rugby Union's National 2 North. They played Chester, a narrow 2-point loss to Stourbridge last weekend. And in the same league, Sheffield Rugby Union Football Club, they're rooted to the bottom of the table, unfortunately. They're at home to Macclesfield, but they lost to Huddersfield very heavily last weekend. And we'll finish off with some Commonwealth Games news. Starts in a couple of weeks' time. But plenty of Sheffield interest. So Mike Tuck, friend of the show, Sheffield Sharks captain, of course. He's representing England, despite his strange Canadian accent. All the best to you, Mark. If you do want to follow him on Instagram, by the way, he's documenting the whole trip, and he's very, very excited. He's really giddy. He's quite engaging. So, give him a follow on there. Good bloke. Nick Matthew, of course, in his final Commonwealth Games, going for his 4th gold. What an achievement that would be in his final year as a pro squash player.
Good luck,
Jack
Nick.
Haslam. Freddie Woodward in the diving, Max Litchfield and Ellie Faulkner in the swimming. Loads of others as well. We'll keep you right across that when it gets underway in the Gold Coast in Australia. And also finish off with golf. Matt Fitzpatrick playing in the World Match Play Championship over in America. He lost yesterday to Kyle Stanley by 1 hole, but he was 1-up with Russell Henley last time I checked. So there we go.
Brilliant, mate. Thanks very much indeed. Lots going on as
Lots
ever.
going
And good luck to Nick and Mick in the Commonwealth Games and everybody else besides. And I was talking to, exchanging messages with Nick Matthew recently, and once the Commonwealth Games is over and his career, very sadly, he's agreed to be
he can bring his medal in. He can bring his medal in. He's on Project 4, Alan. Did you know that? He's on Project 4 because he's got 3 British Open titles, 3 world titles, and 3 Commonwealth Game gold medals. So he wants to make one of them 4, and he's already had 2. So he's already had 1. He's had the British Open. So if he can get a 4th, that'd be great.
It'd be great to have a medal in here, wouldn't it?
It would.
We've not had a medal in the studio.
We haven't.
No. Steel ball. I don't know why I do know why I've written that down here. Steel ball, because the city here, and you're celebrating steel and the steel industry. Whatever happened to that, which I thought was a fantastic idea and would have been a great project, when those cooling towers were demolished just off the motorway there, just at Tinsley? Whatever happened to that, having that steel football? Hey, did anybody know?
I don't know what this is.
Did you? Oh, well, it was in the local headlines here that there was an idea that as the birthplace of football, the original home of football, the Sheffield should have a steel football.
I love that
just
idea.
Simple.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hey, symbolic and everything. Just says everything without
a really, really big one.
A really, really big one.
Controversial view. I think it'd have looked a damn sight better than the Tinsley Towers, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Such a good idea, and I can't understand
We could have
why.
done a soundscape around it and everything.
You could have. You could have.
Oh my God! People driving past going, "Oh."
The kind of thing that you're doing in your
that's
exhibition.
right, that's right, yeah.
We've still got that Tina Turner story to come. It's quite amazing. We were very impressed here during the interval. We really were. But before all of that, fast forward, your film of the '66 FA Cup run, Sheffield Wednesday, all the way to the final, doesn't just include footage of the final. It includes footage of several games, Huddersfield, Newcastle, all the way through to Wembley, doesn't it?
Yeah, the interesting bit about that is when I went to visit David Ford to do the interview, he said, I think I might have something in the loft which might help. And about 3 weeks later, I went back to the second interview with some of our young guys, and he came down from the loft with a VHS tape and said, I think there's 2 or 3 films on there, which was fantastic. Took us about 3 weeks to find a recorder to play them on in the first place. And then we contacted the BBC, but on there was 45 minutes each of the Huddersfield game in the 5th round, Blackburn in the 6th round, Chelsea semi-final, including an interview with Jim McCalliog afterwards. And just wonderful piece of heritage. So we had to go to the BBC and ask permission. They said, yeah, it's no problem. I don't think anybody would be particularly interested in that. So we, quietly tiptoed out. We thought
that's what makes it. That film. Pulling together, I remember seeing highlights of that semi-final. The state of the pitches in those days, unbelievable.
Yeah, there is a part in the film where one of the fans, the wise old owl, says, he said, the thing I remember about going to Wembley is it's just a green open space.
Yeah.
And I'm not surprised because every other round is just black mud, that thick.
They literally had to plough their way to Wembley, and then it's like a bowling green then.
In an all-white kit all the way through as well.
An all-white kit.
That makes it look heroic, doesn't it, when you really...
Yeah.
Well, let's just record. There'll be people watching this tonight who like us, actually remember that FA Cup run and that game, even though the way it turned out, many people would have liked to have forgotten it at the time. And now it's a great piece of history, and let's reflect on the film now.
I used to think it was the best place on earth, Hillsborough. Being in the dressing room, I couldn't believe my luck.
It was everything I'd ever dreamed of. It would have been lovely to win, but the fact that they'd been there and not only played well, they'd been a credit to the club and to the city. It really was a marvellous day.
I'm very grateful for the honour. I look back with the pleasure that I had the luck to go my way.
Well, I never thought of any other club.
Well, I certainly think it's probably been the best time of my career.
When you play the street, when your kid's under the gas lamp, you're scoring in cup finals every time, aren't you? Every time you play. So scoring in the cup final, I suppose, was the highlight of my career. Really.
I look back on it now, it's probably the happiest years I had in sports writing.
What was it like? How did you feel? Was it great? Oh, it must have been fantastic. It was.
Yeah, we're only showing you the best bits there, and in fact the film only does show the best bits. I don't recall seeing the winning goal from Derek Temple.
No, it ends at 2-0.
You got it about right. So that's on DVD, and
it is on DVD. We're looking at putting it out there on the internet as well. But if anybody wants a copy of the DVD, quick plug here. If you just put anything in front of @thereportersacademy.com, so if you want to put 66 film or Sheffield Wednesday 66, that'll get to us, and if anyone's interested,
people Google it. Just Google
Absolutely.
Put 66.
That's good.
So, or email us on that one.
What's that again? @reportersacademy.com. Is it?
@thereportersacademy.com.
Okay, right.
Awesome.
4 minutes left. Tina Turner.
All right.
Yeah, come on.
Okay, so I woke
Martyn Ware.
up this morning and I woke up this morning and I looked at my emails, and this friend of mine had been to see the Tina Turner, the new Tina, the musical.
Yeah.
The previews are on in London at the moment, and I kind of heard about it and didn't really think much. And she said, "Oh, you want to have a look at the programme, Martyn?" And I'm going, Well, yeah, well, what is it? What are you talking about? She sent me a photo. I'm in it as a character, as an actual character. There's an actor playing me 8 shows a week in the West End. I've made it, Ma. Right? I'm literally, you know, and apparently they mentioned Heaven 17. It's a big scene and everything. And because I produced like Stay Together, if you don't know. But
you have to go and see it now, aren't you?
So who plays you then, Martyn? That's the big question.
I can't remember his name. What was his name?
Jason Langley.
Jason Langley. Yeah, it's been in loads of TV stuff.
He's great.
So he's actually quite well known. I recognised his face.
He's very well known.
I was a bit.
Can he sing?
I have no idea, but I mean,
keyboards?
I can't act. That's but he's, you know, he's quite good looking. He's not Tom Cruise, which is what I was hoping for.
Next time.
His schedule couldn't quite work.
No.
There's always
There are not enough stunts involved.
Yeah.
When are you back at Hillsborough?
Well, I actually arranged the opening of the Power exhibition, which is the day before Good Friday, so that I could stay up and watch the Preston game.
I'm covering that for TalkSport. Yeah, I'm there as well. Yeah.
I've got a feeling we'll do all right. I think we've kind of broken a spell with that Leeds thing, and we got some players coming back, and I've just got a feeling Preston are a good team.
Very good.
But I think we'll start putting a better fight up now.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think there was ever. I never really seriously thought Wednesday would go down.
No,
but while they are in a downward spiral.
That's the thing. People are saying, "Oh, Wednesday now safe after that win at least."
No,
they were safe. They were safe weeks. You know.
To be honest, we might even have enough points now.
Might
because the teams below us aren't all going to go on a run.
No chance. No.
They're consistently losing, aren't they?
Yeah.
Consistently losing. Well, I wish you luck with your steel exhibition. I really do. Are you going to be there some of the time for that?
I'm going to be there on the Friday, Good Friday. I'll be there most of the day.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to come and meet me, and I'll talk to them about it, I'm more than happy to do that.
Yeah.
And but you'd be foolish not to go because it's free. It's in the city centre. Just go and see it. You know.
Part of the city's heritage.
You know, you're never going to get a chance to see this again. It's a world premiere. It's good enough to be in, say, the Venice Art Biennale, this show. So I used to live in Venice, and I know how good it is. So please go and see it. Do yourself a favour.
Right, Trafalgar Warehouse, Trafalgar Street, from
11 till 6 every day.
11 till 6 a week, Friday. What's your next project, Glyn?
Gold Coast Commonwealth Games, funnily enough. We've got a team of 6.
That's right, you were saying earlier.
A team of 6 going out there, so we hopefully might catch up with some of these Sheffield athletes. That'd be great, wouldn't it?
That'd be fantastic.
So, so we're taking
come
6
back with a bit
there.
of footage. You can come back with a bit of footage.
Yeah, we can do that and tell you a little bit about that and the young people. We're covering the Pacific Island athletes out there, so the Fijis and Samoas and so on. So, we're looking forward to that.
Who designed this agenda?
Amazing, brilliant stuff. Some genuine medal hopes as well from England, certainly, and certainly from Sheffield as well. So. Fantastic, brilliant.
Right, well, it remains for me to thank you both. Also to say that next week is kind of author's night, but we're balancing it a bit better than we've balanced tonight's show because we've got Daniel Gordon, author of a couple of Wednesday books, Dan, who you know, who's produced, of course, that fabulous Hillsborough documentary. He's with us, but to balance that out, Danny Hall of the Sheffield Star is writing a book covering the Chris Wilder-inspired revival of Sheffield United. So both those guys will be in the studio. You have to be an author to be here next week. Have you got one coming up? No,
I can make one up by next week.
You can make one up by next week. It's on my YouTube channel later, as ever, but thanks so much indeed to Martyn Ware and to Glyn McGuire.
Thank you.
See you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.